When you get an opportunity to wind up later, I would like to ask you to provide maybe a link or an email address that delegates can send their comments to, or those that haven't seen the draft law yet, where they could find it online. Thank you very much. I saw some tweets earlier, but this is, maybe it's gone now, from the march that happened earlier on today, and I heard people were chanting, it's our money, it's our information, no more secrets, something like that. And I think it's very appropriate to invite a representative from the World Bank, Sarwat, Hussain, because ultimately this is all about accountability. And we would like to find out what role the World Bank can play in supporting these efforts, and what has the World Bank itself done to promote transparency and accountability in its own work, so that there is accountability for the usage of our money that is being held on our behalf. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you, Bimalani. Thank you, Nukalani, so much for this very kind invitation to speak here. And a big thank you to Guy Berger, who really twisted my arm to come out here. And so I'm delighted to be here. I just thought I would take a few moments to give you a little bit of an overview of what I'm going to be talking about. The World Bank has just released last year its access to information policy. And in April this year, we launched what is called the Open Data Initiative. And sorry. Bit fuddling, technology. It does take a village to get this thing going. But basically I'm going to walk through this very quickly, and since I only have very limited time and I'm between your Java jolts and your Ruby boss, I better be quick. But what I wanted to do is talk a little bit about the economic transitions that are taking place in the global economy, emphasize the point about why information matters, and place this within the context of the bank's access to information policy, and the new notion that that the development is being democratized as never before, thanks to technology, thanks to the flow of knowledge, thanks to new partnerships, and then really talk about knowledge as a tool of empowerment. So, coming to the main issue of the global tectonic shifts that are taking place in the global economy, we are seeing new growth poles emerging. Those are not the traditional ones. If you look at Africa, it has the most red, and that is not the red that we are conventionally associated with. This is about growth. We are talking about anywhere between 5 to 6% growth. Growth rates that would be the envy of the developed world. So this is the next frontier. We are also looking at, and basically what that is showing is that there are multiple poles of growth, and Africa certainly is there. And this multipolarity is now manifesting itself, including in the ICT revolution. What is amazing is that the speed of supercomputers has increased exponentially. This one example really talks about how China, in the span of little more than 7 months, how two countries wrested the lead on exascale computing, which is above supercomputing. In November 2010, China claimed 2 of the top 3 positions. 7 months later, June 2011, Japan blazed to the #1 slot with an exascale computer that was faster than the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th supercomputers combined. Okay, so this is the speed at which ICT is coming. This picture of the easy submarine cables is illustrative. It is about how dramatically the ICT landscape is changing in Africa. Since 2008, 5 new cables have been launched. One most recently is in Bloemfontein. Now, all of this basically, and I'll come back to it, has implications for how easily you'll be able to access information. And as Francis Cairncross of The Economist once talked about, the death of geography may just be around the corner. And one more point of that is that there are increasing linkages between South-South knowledge transfers. If you look at the green cable, that directly links Africa to Latin America. And it is one of the most clearest examples that we have of greater South-South knowledge exchange and cooperation. Why is all of this important? Much has been said about social media. We are right now on Twitter and so forth. Facebook is easily the 3rd largest country if you were to look at its 750 million netizens. It's shown the most dramatic rise in terms of its market capitalization. Clay Shirky, who's been leading a major debate on the ubiquity of social media in foreign affairs, the headline said communications technology will help promote freedom, but it might take a while. This was in January. Well, in February, we led the protests in Tahrir Square and the Jasmine Revolution all proved the very quick pace in which social media can make a difference. Okay, they are. Clearly, one of the most amazing things is their role in mass mobilization. We've looked at Egypt. We've looked at the Jasmine Revolution. But now we are also seeing the dark underbelly of this in the UK, where the BlackBerry Messenger service was used for mass mobilization, for looting, and for coordinated attacks on public property. So clearly there's the soft side to it. But it's all not rosy. There was an article in the Herald Tribune that talked about a woman who was finding her date on social media, rented her house on social media, organized dinner on social media, and so forth. And all of that just means to say that we are now reaching the 2nd generation of problems already, which is social media burnout. And it's something that we just need to be cognizant of. And I couldn't resist slipping in this cartoon which says stop or I'll tweet, and that's how we run. But the other big development, of course, is the rise of big data. This is a famous McKinsey Global Institute report, and it talks about how data is the next frontier for innovation, competition, and productivity. It absolutely struck me, at least when I started my career, I used to walk around very proudly with an Osborne computer that was the size of a suitcase, a Samsonite suitcase. Well, now people in their little storage devices are storing as much information as 60,000 libraries of Congress. Thomas Jefferson would be proud. We now have 4 billion phone users. 12% of those are smartphones. I can't do without my BlackBerry. It's no longer just a phone, it's a data stream. And again, it has profound implications for what I'm going to be talking about. YouTube uploads about every minute 24 hours of video, which again has profound implications for openness, for teaching, for learning, and knowledge sharing. And all of the world's recorded music can be stored in a $600 device. I couldn't resist taking these pictures of the Vodacom things on the N1 near Johannesburg. That said, information does matter. And we'll see, this is a picture of Joe Stiglitz, who at one time used to be World Bank chief economist and a Nobel laureate. And he won the 2000 Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences, together with Michael Spence, who led the work on the International Growth Commission report, and of course, George Akerlof. These guys, 3 of them, together founded modern information theory as we know it. Okay? They founded the core of modern information economics. They've had a profound impact on their analysis of markets and why asymmetric information often is to the detriment of those who don't have it. And that's the crucial point. I thought I would also, because this is the morgue shift and you're heading to your coffee, I would give you a pop quiz. Does anybody know these two guys? One of them resembles me, I was told, and somebody said this was a shameless plug for me. It isn't so. These guys are, this is Preet Bharara, who's the public prosecutor in New York, and the guy behind him is Rajaratnam of the Galleon hedge funds, whose single largest, what would one call heist on Wall Street was responsible for some of the greatest losses and the loss of prestige on Wall Street. What's amazing is information does matter on Wall Street. They recorded something like 2,400 phone calls, and only 45 of them were enough to indict this guy and throw him into jail and throw the key away. Right? So you can imagine how egregious his actions were. For the first time, Wall Street crime was on par with drug-related crime and other such nefarious activities. So information matters even on Wall Street. We are also looking at the very changing nature of the ICT revolution. Who could have imagined, just as Steve Jobs stepped down, that Apple became the world's second most valuable company, overtaking Exxon, very close to overtaking Exxon, which is based on resources and extraction of natural resources. What's also happening is that these are the ore giants were the infrastructure, the ports, the natural resources sector. The new giants are about something that you don't even see. The world's richest man, Bill Gates, manufactured something, sells something, and became the richest man selling you something that you don't even see. Okay, coming back to the whole issue of democratizing development. There's been a profound shift thanks to technology, thanks to openness, thanks to citizen movements towards transparency and accountability. Open knowledge, open platforms. I could show you other graphs that show the very intense fights that are taking place amongst the telephone companies. They're all suing each other at all times of the day, trying to get ahead in terms of their patents and so forth. But what you have is the internet is having a profound influence on all of this. There are websites that are dedicated to more openness and transparency. Publish what you pay, follow the money, and the National Resource Charter by Paul Collier and his colleagues, the citizens' report cards and so forth that came out of Bangalore, and some of Anjali's work that she described are all contributing to this. This graph from The Economist shows governments have been also asking for content to be removed. And if you think this is not, these are some of the major, most open economies of the world, but who would have imagined that Brazil, Germany, and India were leading the pack in asking Google and YouTube to remove content, which they thought was detrimental to their national interests. This is out of The Economist. The World Bank is not a Johnny-come-lately to this issue. As far back as 1997, we did our first report on what is called Knowledge for Development, where we talked about access to financial, technical, and medical knowledge is crucial to improving the lives of poor people. It's the kind of thing for which Joe Stiglitz and his colleagues received the Nobel Prize. And going back to what Anjali's presentation was, our access to information policy is based on India's Right to Information Act and the United States Freedom of Information Act. And I think the most profound statement that I've ever heard in this whole business is about when Judge Brandeis talked about sunshine being the best disinfectant for this thing. So let me go very quickly on this. Our access to information policy is focused on maximizing access to information. It is about clear list of exceptions. It is about safeguarding the bank's deliberative processes. And they are about clearer procedures for disclosing information. And then, of course, a right to appeal is embedded in it. Let me just very quickly go through these documents, which These are the bread and butter of the bank's analytical work. Each of them have now been